breaking effort along with Secretary Carson Jovita. Where's Jovita? Jovita. Good. Thank you, Jovita. Great job. Thanks also to the many great members of Congress that you have with us. And these are warriors. These people have been fighting hard. Do you mind if I take them? Am I allowed to take a couple of seconds and introduce them? I call them warriors, senators and congressmen and women, but they've been incredible. You saw what happened. It was the impeachment hoax. And now that's a thing of the past. So now they have a failed impeachment hoax. They can put that on their resume. That doesn't go good on a resume, right? That's a failed hoax. Every one of them have to put it right on that resume. It was a fix, except when it got up to Congress, we had 197 to nothing. Our Republicans hung in, and our senators were incredible. They were really incredible, same kind of a thing. And a man's here who's really become a friend over the last year and a half. And we had a good relationship, but we sort of disagreed on a couple of minor policies, and that's okay. Of course, I won't put up with it for long. Tom Tillis. He's been a great friend. It's true. No, we just had some disagreements at the beginning, and now at the last year and a half, boy, it's been good, right? It's been good. And you have something on sanctuary cities that's going to be incredible. It got one of the big hands that, I know nobody listened to the speech the other night, but it got one of the big hands. It's going to be good. We got to push that, right? So, Tom, thank you, and thank you for your support. It was great, your vote and everything else. And we have some congressmen. I've gotten to know them well. It's like we were in the trenches together. Representative Ted Budd. Thanks, Ted. Good job. A man I campaigned with, and he was fantastic. He handled pressure very well. They said you couldn't win, and he won by a lot. We did a little bit of a rally for two guys that are very special. One of them is Dan Bishop. Dan? Thank you, Dan. He campaigned, and he didn't choke. There was no choke. He had a lot of pressure, but he ended up won by like 5 or 6 points. It was like boring that evening. You were winning by too much. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that, right? Richard Hudson, another one. Great. Richard, great. Great job. Everybody knows Mark Walker. Thanks, Mark. Another one of those two that I talked about recently, CNN, and they all had their vans. They were all ready because they thought we'd have 2 losses. And they'd go out and say, Trump had a terrible night. But they both won. And this guy was pretty even. And I think he won by 28 points, right? It was like Greg Murphy. Right, Greg? He won by a lot. They both won by a lot. A man that I've gotten to know too well. I love his wife. I mean, his wife, she was with me before he was with me. I have to say it. But he came along very quickly. Long time ago, right? And she would go out with women for Trump, the buses. She had buses all over the place, right? Deb. Where is she? Where's our Deb? Oh, well, I know them because they follow me around a little bit, right? They are incredible. They are incredible. How many of you come to, how many rallies have you? This isn't a rally, this is a serious deal. How many rallies would you say? A lot. And we have a lot of fun. Thank you very much, John. Mark Meadows, everybody. Mark. Great guy. A man who is, without question, the greatest name in politics. I said if I had his name, I would have been president at least 10 years sooner. Patrick McHenry. right? Best name in politics. A woman who's much tougher than any of these people. She doesn't stop, right, Mark? She doesn't stop, but she's great. We love her. Virginia Fox. A very popular guy who wins elections by a lot. He's a tremendous asset to Congress and a tremendous friend, Ralph Norman. Ralph? Thank you, Ralph. We call him Landslide Ralph because he wins by a lot. William Timmons. William, thank you. Great job. Great job. And a man whose son I probably like even more than him. Alan, what a job Alan's done. Joe Wilson is tough and smart, and he is there all the time. And his son is just like him. His son is better than him, I think, right? And he doesn't mind. You know, I have a lot of fathers that they don't like it when I say that. I've had some, please don't say that my son is better. They say, you're not a good father. He's a great father. And he's proud of his son. His son's fantastic, and he's fantastic, and thank you very much. Thanks, Joe. So we're honored to be joined by North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest, who's big future. Big future. You got to get rid of the sanctuary city, Dan. You going to be able to do that? Huh? I think, right? A lot of people want to get rid of them. Plenty of people in California want to get rid of them. Believe me, it's something. And we have many other state and local leaders from all across North Carolina. We're thrilled to have you all here, and you're the ones that really know best, and we're spending a lot of time in the state. We'll be coming here. Louis is around someplace. Where's Louis? Louis DeJoy, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. We'll be coming here a lot, and we're way up in the polls, but you know what I say? I pretend 1 point down everywhere. Somebody said, how are you doing? I said, we're 1 point down everywhere. But we're way up. That's what they tell me. Way up in North Carolina. Way up in South Carolina. Way up in South Carolina. Ralph? Way up. So anyway, so we just assume it's always good. I always say, pretend you're 1 point down. That way you work your ass off, right? We have to do that because this is the most important election coming up. This election is, I used to say the other and the other. You know, the other is the other. 2016 was incredible. But you see what's going on. You see what's happening on the other side. They want to take everything away. They want to destroy everything we've built. We've got the most successful country in our history. They want to take it away. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. As I said in my State of the Union address earlier this week, our nation is in the midst of the single greatest comeback that we've ever had. This is a comeback. We were doing poorly. You know, if you remember, goes all the way back. For years I heard that China will take over as the largest economy in the world in 2019. I kept hearing that. I hated it because I said, if I run, 2019's not so far away. We are so far ahead. We are so far ahead now. Phew. We became a rocket ship, taking in billions and billions and billions in tariffs, giving a lot of it to our farmers and different people that were targeted. Now we have a deal with China. I just spoke to President Xi last night, and you know, we're working on the problem, the virus. It's a very tough situation, but I think he's going to handle it. I think he's handled it really well. We're helping wherever we can, but we have a great relationship. It's incredible. They respect us again. They didn't even respect us. What they were doing to us, they didn't even respect us. They respect us again, and we respect them. And I think we have the best relationship we've had with China, but it's really incredible. So we signed the deal. We signed the Mexico deal and Canada deal, USMCA. Signed a deal with Japan, $40 billion coming in. Signed a deal with South Korea, which had a terrible deal. That was a deal made by crooked Hillary Clinton. She said 250,000 jobs this will produce. It's going to produce 250,000 jobs. And she was right, for them. They got 250,000 jobs. She never said that. She said 250,000 jobs. Yeah, anyway, we changed it around. We said, sorry about that, but we're changing this deal around. For decades, Washington politicians put special interests ahead of American interests. They enacted disastrous trade, really, and I mean disastrous trade policies like it's unimaginable, frankly. I looked at some of these deals, I said, who the hell would have done this? Who would have done this? A child wouldn't have agreed to this stuff. Unbelievable. And we're still here, you know, it's pretty incredible when you think of it, but I don't know that we would have been for long. So we changed them around, but the trade policies that shuttered our factories, gutted our communities, and shipped millions and millions and millions of jobs overseas and to other places. They spent trillions of dollars in the Middle East, but they allowed our own cities to crumble in total disrepair. You have a road, you have a bridge, you have a school. We'd build schools in Afghanistan. They'd blow it up. We'd rebuild it. They'd blow it up. We'd rebuild it. But if a school in South Carolina needed money, if a school in North Carolina needed money, if a school in Florida, any of the places, you know it right here, north, you can't get money. But we get you the money. We get you the money. But they spend almost $8 trillion now in the Middle East. Terrible, terrible thing. But we're doing tremendous work, and a lot of our soldiers are coming back home. You see it. You see what's happening. They're all coming back. They weren't meant to be law enforcement. They weren't meant to be law enforcement. They're meant to be soldiers, you know. And we love our law enforcement, but we didn't put the soldiers over there to be law enforcement. And they imposed crushing government burdens that punished working-class Americans of all backgrounds. But not anymore. Those days have changed, and they've changed very quickly, and more so than you're even hearing about. After years of building up other countries, we are finally building our country. From our inner cities to rural communities all over the land, the forgotten men and women of America are forgotten no longer, because we are finally putting America first. Took a long time, a long time. Our economy is now the envy of the entire world. You have to see when leaders come to my office, this beautiful Oval Office. I've had people walk into the office. It's beautiful. But they have more beautiful in many cases, I guess. But it's what it represents. They walk in, powerful people, big people, and you see them crying. I've seen heads of corporation walk in. Have you ever seen the Oval Office? No, I haven't. How many times have you been in the White House? 51 times, I've said, at the head of a big car company. 51 times. Huh, have you ever seen the Oval Office? No. They never took me in. I'll take you in. I like showing it, right? I'll take you in. And you see them start to cry. Tough people. They haven't cried since they were a baby. Some of them never cried at all, even when they were a baby. And they start to cry when they walk into the Oval Office. Pretty amazing. Since my election, America has gained 7 million brand new jobs, including 220,000 brand beautiful new jobs in a place called North Carolina. Isn't that good? Great state. New business applications in North Carolina have surged by 30%. African-American workers have gained 1.3 million jobs for the first time ever.
Well, you've been listening to President Trump speak in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's been touting the economy after the U.S. added 225,000 jobs in January. We're going to keep monitoring this, but we want to take you to another live event. It's a briefing on the coronavirus, and it's being held by HHS Secretary Alex Azar. Let's listen.
Will help slow the spread of the virus. Every arm of the federal government that can help to protect the American people has been engaged, and we're continuing to take new steps, as Dr. Redfield will explain. We look forward to continuing to coordinate that work through the President's Coronavirus Task Force. And I now want to hand things over to Dr. Redfield, who can provide a more in-depth update on the CDC's work. Thank you. Dr. Redfield?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. First, I want to emphasize that while this is a serious health situation in China, the immediate risk of this virus to the American public remains low, and our goal is to keep it that way. As of today, there are more than 31,000 cases across mainland China, and the death toll has risen over 600. Outside China, there's now over 300 cases that have been detected in 27 locations, including the United States. Most of these individuals have a connection to Hubei province in China. And additionally, there are 14 locations with 69 cases of person-to-person transmission on individuals that did not travel to China. From the onset, we have a layered response, and our goal is centered around early case recognition, isolation, contact tracing to prevent further spread of this novel coronavirus in our nation using effective and proven public health measures. Our public health and medical community have been instrumental in identifying and characterizing the confirmed cases that we've had in the United States today and are critical to our efforts to contain the spread of this virus. To date, 12 confirmed cases has been identified in the United States, and we've continued to do persistent contact tracing of those 12 cases and identified 2 additional cases that did not travel to China but were close spousal contacts of confirmed cases that had returned from Wuhan. We have CDC now more than 800 responders working in support of the U.S. government with our efforts at ports of entry, military installations, and state health departments. Currently, CDC is working in coordination with the State Department as well as state partners to support the arrival of the new passengers, American citizens from Wuhan. We are screening, monitoring, isolating, and referring these individuals for medical treatment as needed. In addition, we appreciate our partnership with Customs and Border Protection to screen the Americans arriving at other parts of mainland China through the 11 U.S. airports. Since the airport screening began, CDC and our partners now have screened more than 17,000 passengers, and as of today, we're screening roughly 4,000 passengers today. We are grateful to these travelers for their cooperation and patience as we employ aggressive public health measures to confront this virus, strengthen our nation, and protect America and Americans and their families. Today, the Department of Health and Human Service issued an interim final rule to amend foreign quarantine regulations. This will enable CDC to collect certain contact information data regarding airline passengers and crew when they arrive from other countries who may be exposed to communicable disease. This action is part of our multi-layered approach to the U.S. response and demonstrates our commitment to take all necessary actions to protect the American people. CDC will work with the interagency partners and airlines to implement this initiative. Finally, we expect to see additional cases of this novel coronavirus in the United States from returning passengers, as well as through contact tracing, detect human-to-human transmission within our country of close contacts. I want to emphasize again that this is a serious global public health situation, and it continues to evolve rapidly. It's understandable that Americans are concerned, but again, the immediate risk to the American public is low, and we are vigilant in our efforts to confront the challenges that this new virus presents. Thank you.
Last time we had a briefing like this, I had mentioned to you that we were in the process of developing and implementing and testing a variety of countermeasures in the form of diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines. So I'd like to give you a very brief update on where we are. You heard from the CDC that on the basis of an emergency use authorization, that their diagnostic test, which they developed very rapidly in the beginning, has now been distributed to health clinics, state and other local health clinics throughout the country, so that that diagnostic will be available not only in the CDC. At the same time, simultaneously, we, together with the CDC, are working on point-of-care diagnostics, and in particular, one that would be important would be develop antibody tests so that you could do broad serosurveillance screening, which I think would be important to determine the scope of the outbreak. Next is therapeutics. I had mentioned last time that at least 2 known therapeutics were being used in an empiric way. Well, I'm happy to report now that one of those, remdesivir, which had showed some activity in vitro in an animal model, has now begun in a randomized controlled trial of 2 separate trials in China by one of our colleagues, Bing Cao, who we have collaborated with in the past. And what they're looking at in a randomized controlled trial is the effect of this drug is either the drug plus standard of care versus standard of care alone. The reason I think this is important, because in order to really understand what works and what does not work, you have to do a kind of trial that would give you a definitive answer. So I think pretty soon we are going to get a definitive answer whether one of these among several drugs works. And then finally, I had mentioned to you that a number of organizations, pharmaceutical companies, individual investigators were involved in developing a vaccine or vaccines, plural, for the novel coronavirus. I had told you last time that the one that the NIH was working on in collaboration with Moderna was a messenger RNA platform that I told this group would hopefully, and I think likely, be ready within 3 months. Well, a little time has passed, and I said that would happen provided there were no glitches. And I'm happy to tell you that there have been no glitches so far. So what do we mean by that? There are a number of steps that you have to go through. One of the first steps is to successfully get that gene that has been published by the Chinese in the database and insert it into the messenger RNA platform successfully and allow it to express proteins. We've succeeded in that. The next is to put it in a mouse animal model to induce immunogenicity, and the next to get the company to start making GMP products. And in fact, all of those have now been successfully implemented, and now there have been no, thus far, glitches. And I think there will likely not be, but you never know. If that occurs, we will be in people in a phase 1 trial within the next 2.5 months. Thank you.
Secretary.
Thank you and good afternoon. Since taking office, President Trump has been clear that his top priority is the safety and well-being of the American people. And as Secretary Azar has said, it is in that conviction that he took swift and decisive action to minimize the risk of the spread of the novel coronavirus in the United States, and also stood up a dedicated interagency task force to invoke the full weight of the U.S. government in our response. Over the past few weeks, at the direction of Secretary of State Pompeo, I have served as the representative for the Department of State on this task force, while our colleagues from the Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC continue to do a tremendous job leading the overall response to the outbreak. The Department of State has responsibility for ensuring the safety and welfare of U.S. citizens abroad. The Department of State has all hands on deck, with bureaus and offices from across the department, such as Medical Services, Consular Affairs, East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Crisis Management and Strategy, and many others covering health, economic, and public affairs, leading an exceptional effort to evacuate U.S. citizens